Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive into the unsettling unknown. Today, we're sharing some really chilling personal accounts. Stories from people who, well, they claim they've come face to face with beings not from our world. And these aren't just, campfire tales. They're raw experiences, told with incredible detail. They really might challenge how you see things. We've pulled the key parts from these first-hand sources, Reddit posts, testimonies, to look at the patterns and, frankly, the impact of these encounters. Imagine this. Silent, glowing ships in the Texas night. Or really surreal abductions out in the California wilderness. We've got 5 stories like that today. Moments where the normal world just fell away, replaced by something alien. And it left marks on the people involved, deep marks.
Yeah, and what's really striking, looking across these different stories, is how certain things keep popping up. This altered sense of reality people describe. And the descriptions of the beings themselves, the physiology, it echoes other reports, Plus the psychological impact. It's profound, often traumatic. It gives these accounts a strange kind of weight, despite how bizarre they sound.
Okay, let's start with the first one. This takes us back to the late 80s, maybe early 90s. South Texas, a 200-acre family farm. The person telling the story was just a kid then, maybe 8 to 10 years old. It was late, after 11:30 p.m. in August. Adults asleep. He was awake, reading, and went to get some water. That's when he saw this weird orange glow outside, southwest of the house. So he walks outside, and immediately things feel off. The family dogs, usually noisy, silent. In the night, sound cicadas, crickets, gone. Just this eerie, quiet.
That silence is a recurring theme, isn't it? Like the normal background noise of the world just gets switched off.
Exactly. He felt compelled, he said, drawn towards the light. Climbed a fence, looked down the hill, across this little creek, and there it was. A small, egg-shaped craft. Maybe 10, 12 feet tall, matte silver, not shiny, hovering just 6 inches off the ground on these short tripod legs. There was an oval hatch open, glowing orange, and out comes this small being, maybe 3.5 feet tall. At first, from a distance, he described it as looking like an Ewok, but without clothing. It was taking samples, soil, or plants. Then, as the kid gets closer, another being rushes past him, like through a gap in a fence, heading for the craft. The first one looks up, startled, and darts back inside, but the kid runs after them, right up to the craft, and then one of the beings comes back out, and this is where it gets really strange. The furry Ewok appearance just dissipated, shimmered away, revealing a short, gray alien underneath.
Right, this idea of cloaking or transformation. It's fascinating. Some theories suggest it could be biological, maybe technological camouflage, possibly to, reduce fear on first sight. Or maybe, as the narrator thought later, it was meant to actively mislead. It hints at some really advanced abilities.
The description of the gray is incredibly detailed. He said the head was large, bulbous, like an oversized embryo head, not the angular shape you often see in drawings. Huge eyes, almost like a sugar glider's, nocturnal. Very large pupils, but not totally black. You could still see some detail. Tiny slits for nostrils, a bump for a nose, small mouth, no visible teeth. The body was slight, fragile-looking, but moved in this fluid, methodical way. Long arms, long fingers. Very thin legs, small feet that were split in the center like ninja shoes.
Ninja shoes, yeah, that's specific.
And they wore these form-fitting bodysuits, dark gray or navy, with a faint metallic sparkle that didn't reflect light. And standard military-style boots, also split. One had gloves, the other didn't. Then communication. The alien seemed almost interested that the kid could see its true form. It communicated telepathically, a voice right inside the child's head.
Direct mental communication.
Yeah.
Another classic element in these close encounter reports.
Yeah. It apparently explained they were researchers taking samples, specifically elements, not biological stuff like frogs or crawfish the kid offered, and the landing spot. Turns out it was an old mini landfill where they'd buried scrap metal after a barn fire. So high concentration of metal, these elements. The kid even helped collect soil samples in special tubes they gave him. He got to peek inside the craft too. Said it seemed bigger inside than out. Stark white concave walls, a golden orange glowing ceiling, a shelf with sample canisters, a control panel with bucket seats and flat touchscreens showing unknown symbols, even a hidden window strip.
Bigger on the inside.
Yeah.
That's another one of those details that defies easy explanation.
Right. Then the alien said it was time to leave. Told the kid he couldn't come, wouldn't survive their environment, despite the kid begging and offering pizza. Next thing he knows, he's standing back in the hallway of his house. The alien thanked him, then just phased out through the back door. Later, around 3:30 a.m., his uncle saw him up. The kitchen light wasn't on, but the craft's glow was still visible outside. Then, a greenish-white bolt of light shot straight up into the sky. The family mostly didn't believe him, except his grandmother, who was very religious and insisted they were angels.
Angels, yes. Trying to fit the inexplicable into a known framework.
But the landing site, he said the air felt charged there for a long time. Cows wouldn't go near it. A mule fought against being led there. And the narrator, now in his mid-30s, still goes back to that spot sometimes, still looking, wondering if they'll return. Okay, let's shift gears. Story 2 takes us to Argentina, around 2015 or 2016. This is from a 27-year-old guy, originally from Italy. He'd actually studied UFOs since he was a kid. It started subtly. Driving home late, around 11:45 p.m., stops at a red light. Then, like a moment later, he finds himself at the exact same red light again. He called it a time warp.
That time distortion, or missing time, is a significant marker. It often precedes or accompanies these alleged abduction experiences. It's disorienting and breaks that normal flow of reality.
Definitely. So he gets home, goes to bed, wakes up around 3 a.m., only he's not in bed. He's stretched out somewhere else, arms at 90 degrees, wrists held by clear plastic-like restraints. He's in a small, cold room, alone. Feels sedated, can't move much, but he's absolutely certain he's not dreaming. Terrified.
The paralysis and sedation are common themes too, a feeling of being completely helpless.
After a few minutes, he hears this low hum, then a door sound he described as like something from the game Doom. And in come these greys. Fast-moving, twitchy. He mentions their massive eyes, the detail in their skin. One looks right down at him. Another touches his body. He felt just absolute terror, noticing their tiny microscopic movements. Then, bang! Knocked out. He wakes up at noon, which was totally out of character for him. He never slept that late, no memory of how he got back.
The memory gaps are another key feature. Often, details only return later, sometimes triggered by something unexpected.
Which is exactly what happened here. He kept a diary and shared some entries about what he called dream-like encounters, though he insists they felt real. September 15th, 2015. Dream about being in a plaza. A kid asks for help hiding. He realizes it's a dream, then feels his mouth biting something. Aggressively meaty. Wakes up. There's a gray alien next to his bed, ashen pink skin, arm extended, and he realizes he's biting its arm. Then blackout again.
Biting its arm. That's visceral. A very unusual detail, suggesting intense fear or resistance, even while seemingly incapacitated.
Very. Then, December 15th. Another dream around the same time, 4:05 a.m., leaving people, yelling about escaping them, realizes he's dreaming, expects an alien when he wakes, and sure enough, he wakes up, senses an alien behind him, sees its slender torso, closes his eyes shaking, feels a light touch on his hair, then this radio effect in his right ear, followed by language apathetic, asexual, totally unrecognized, blackout, final one he recorded March 15th, 2016, dream in a city. Sees a policeman, thinks, I know you're an alien in human form. The policeman looks surprised, then smirks. Same feeling of peril. Blackout without even opening his eyes. He stresses he knows the difference between dreams and reality. He believes these things really happened to him.
The consistency of the timing, the specific sensations, the recurring theme of hidden identities. It paints a very disturbing picture, whether a dream or something else.
Let's move to our third story. This one's different, a shared experience. Smithfield, Rhode Island, July 20th, 1992. Two friends out fishing. They'd finished a base tournament earlier, decided to go back out for a late-night session around 11 p.m. They're on a peninsula, looking towards the shore where there's a dark, empty house. First, weird lights and sounds, or lack thereof. Thought they heard a helicopter, but when lights dimmed, no noise. Dismissed it. Then saw what looked like kids with flashlights in the empty house windows. Again, no car, no actual people seen.
The environment itself starts behaving strangely. Sounds missing, lights appearing without sources. It sets the stage.
Then it gets really direct. An unusually tall, human-shaped figure appears at the water's edge with a smaller, child-sized figure. Seemed to be looking for frogs. But the weird part, they were glowing, like glow-in-the-dark illuminated. And right after they appeared, suddenly there were 15 to 20 more glowing figures, different sizes, all silent, standing on the shore, just facing their boat.
Silent arrival. That's unnerving. They should have heard them moving through the brush. That lack of sound again, that field effect maybe. It makes the visual even more jarring.
Totally. The friends are freaked out, obviously. As they're thinking about getting out of there, the flashlight held by the tall figure shines right on their boat. The narrator starts their little 5-horsepower motor, and as he does, the flashlight just lifts off, levitates 30 or 40 yards across the water towards them, then stops, hovering about 8 feet above their boat.
A levitating light source, independent movement, that definitely escalates things beyond strange figures on the shore.
You bet. They gunned it back to the boat ramp as fast as that little motor could go. And the moment they hit the ramp, all the dogs around the lake, which had been silent before, just erupted. barking like crazy. His friend was terrified, made him promise not to tell anyone, and he didn't for years. Okay, fourth encounter. This one's recent, just 3 months before it was reported. And it's intense. Remote Northern California wilderness. The narrator calls himself a wilderness junkie, experienced outdoorsman. Never cared about aliens before this. He was camping in the Sierras with a friend. Friend went to sleep, he stayed up. Around 10:45 p.m., he sees it. A classic flying saucer, he says. Rotating, color-changing lights rising up from the valley below. He's shocked. Watches for maybe 15 seconds. Decides he has to wake his friend. He stands up, and the object just vanishes. Yeah. Poof. He tries to call out his friend's name. No sound comes out. He realizes everything is silent. The campfire looks frozen, like a photograph. Time just stopped.
That's complete cessation of sound and motion, including his own voice. That's incredibly disorienting. A total sensory disconnect from reality.
Then a flash of light. Blackout. He wakes up later. It's sunrise. He's lying in the dirt, shivering, feels drugged or groggy. The full memory didn't come back for weeks, until one day a static sound from an amplifier just triggered it all, like a floodgate opened. He remembered being on the craft, suspended horizontally, nude in this circular mechanism like Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, held by clear, glass-like shackles. 3 typical Greys were there, about 4 feet tall, in white sort of spandex-like suits. 2 watched while one used this strange syringe to take blood from his armpit.
Armpit. Interesting location. Often samples are reported taken from other areas.
He felt pure terror, but also this primal rage like a cornered animal. And he sensed the Greys picked up on it because they actually stepped back from him for a moment.
That interplay's fascinating. Paralyzed physically, but emotionally raging, and the entities reacting to that raw emotion. It suggests they're sensitive to consciousness, not just performing mechanical procedures.
Then, 2 Greys leave and come back with 2 different beings. Very tall, very human-looking, a male and a female. Described them like Norse gods. Bright golden hair, massive eyes, dark blue for the male, violet for the female. Now, the narrator mentioned he's of Swedish descent, has Nordic features himself, and these beings looked like that, but amplified.
The Nordics, another recurring archetype in ufology, often contrasted with the Greys. Tall, human-like, sometimes described as benevolent or parental.
A feminine voice spoke in his mind, telepathically, said, "Be calm, you are not in danger." She explained they were just checking up on him and that they had saved him when he first came into being. He immediately connected this to his own birth. He was premature, had an unexplained recovery. It just clicked for him. Then a deep male voice added that man had come from them, that they arrived 200,000 years ago, combined their DNA with primate ancestors to create humanity.
That's a huge claim. The ancient astronaut theory essentially delivered firsthand.
Right. They even apparently explained that Nordic people, like him, inherited some features because many of their males found early human females attractive and, well, mated with them. He tried to ask more questions, but they said it was time for him to go back. Instant blackout. Woke up by the dead campfire, shivering, fully clothed again. He ends by saying he knows it sounds absolutely ridiculous and very impossible, but it happened.
The conviction is powerful, even when relaying events that sound utterly fantastical. The internal consistency of his recalled experience is compelling to him.
Our final story tonight is maybe the most haunting because it spans almost a lifetime. From 1972 to 2016, the narrator describes himself as logical, practical, dislikes supernatural stuff. But these experiences made him a believer. It started young, age 3 or 4. Recurring dreams, he puts dreams in quotes. 4 or 5 motionless figures, different heights, standing at the end of his bed, just staring. Always ended with a loud crash sound that made him look away. Then he'd wake up.
Those early childhood experiences, often dismissed as nightmares, can sometimes be the start of a lifelong pattern in these accounts.
One night, he tried desperately to wake his older brother in the same room, screaming, shaking him. Brother wouldn't wake up. Then, blackout. Woke up crying in the hallway, wearing specific yellow pajamas. Parents said, "Just a dream."
Another odd memory from that time. Playing under a desk, saw a wooden owl carving turn its head and look at him during the day.
Screen memories, perhaps. Mundane objects behaving impossibly. Another strange feature sometimes reported.
Ages 5 to 14, the fear got worse. The dreams continued. He dreaded sleep. Drew a picture in first grade of himself in bed with a face looking in the window. His mom kept it. Around age 5, playing hide and seek outside at night. Hid behind a big bush, and a face turned and looked back at him, like a foot away. He remembers deep, black, lidless eyes. Head slimmer, taller than typical Greys. He screamed, ran to his dad. Dad shone a flashlight, said, "Oh, it's just a caterpillar," trying to calm him. But the kid knew what he saw. It left him terrified of the dark. Sleep issues led to social problems, bullying. That dismissal, even when well-intentioned, can compound the trauma and isolation for experiencers, especially children.
Then, age 12 or 13, tinkering with electronics, he was physically shaken awake by a deep, monotone voice saying, "It's hot." Woke up instantly, adrenaline pumping. Found his soldering iron had fallen, burning a hole in the carpet. A warning.
Almost protective in a way. Very strange intervention.
Another night, maybe a year later, Dad made him turn his room light off at night, so he wired a remote switch, fell asleep holding it, woke up standing next to his bed. And to his right, a small, dark, humanoid silhouette about 4 feet tall. He dropped the switch, fumbled for it, grabbed it, blackout. Woke up in the morning. Around this time, he also had frequent nosebleeds for about a year.
Nosebleeds are another physical symptom sometimes associated with these encounters.
High school actually brought some peace. Less bullying, got a girlfriend. Happiest few months of his life, he said. Until, walking in a mall with his girlfriend, he sees a book displayed in a store window. Whitley Strieber's Communion. He just freezes. Body trembling, heart pounding, tears streaming down his face. He instantly recognized the face on the cover from his dreams, the bush, the window. His girlfriend had to literally drag him away.
That's a powerful, involuntary reaction. Seeing that image unlocked everything, confirming his deepest fears weren't just imagination.
Yeah, it sent him spiraling. All the terror came back, the memories, the fear. He lost his girlfriend. Years of crying himself to sleep returned. Then a long period of relative quiet, ages 22 to 46. Found another partner, had kids, even joined the army late at 36. Still scared of the dark, though. Got a nightlight at age 40. About 15 years of peace, just occasional vague dreams, until 2016, age 47. After 15 years, the fear was still there under the surface. He slept kind of huddled in the corner of his bed. One night, fell asleep watching TV, more exposed in the bed than usual, half woke up feeling his hair being tugged, thought it was his cat, reached out, felt skin, soft, firm skin, an arm. He looked up. And it was there again, standing beside the bed, face was blurry, but he knew the shape. He tried to focus, then thought, why am I trying to see this? I don't want to see it. Slowly, deliberately, he turned away, closed his eyes tight, felt this strange tingling all over his body. Then, blackout, and the aftermath. Within a month, his cat, who he loved dearly, got suddenly severely sick, breathing problems, seizures, had to be put down. He asked, did that bastard do something to her? He's alone again now.
That potential link, that lingering question about harm extending even to a beloved pet, it adds another layer of tragedy and violation to an already deeply disturbing life story.
These stories, wow, decades apart, different continents, different people, a child, a researcher, fishing buddies, a wilderness guy, someone haunted for life. But that thread of the unknown, it runs so deep through all of them. The fear is palpable, the memory gaps, the weird physical feelings, the telepathy, and the way these things just completely change people's lives. It's undeniable.
Absolutely. And beyond the consistency of the descriptions of beings or craft, what really stands out is the resilience needed to just live with this stuff. These people question their own sanity, their reality. They often feel totally isolated. Yet many feel this need to share their story, maybe for validation, maybe just to understand what happened.
So, what do you make of it all? Are these just, I don't know, incredibly vivid nightmares, products of imagination? Or are we getting glimpses, fragments of something much larger and frankly terrifying that's hidden for most of us? The universe definitely seems to hold more secrets, more strangeness than we can easily handle. Well, that's all the time we have for this dive into the unsettling unknown. Thank you for joining us. If these stories got under your skin, if they made you think, please hit that like button. Share this deep dive with anyone you think might be interested. And definitely subscribe to Horror Docx. We've got more tales coming that will make you question everything. Until next time, stay curious. And maybe keep an eye on the shadows.